Welcome to my anti-inflammatory breakfast meal prep video. Today I'm going to show you my favorite recipes to reduce inflammation and also my favorite breakfast recipes I come back to over and over again because they're just so simple and nourishing, and honestly I crave them all the time. We're doing a sweet recipe, we're doing something savory, and because I love to be efficient in the kitchen, those recipes can also be used as a snack throughout a busy day. Let's get started and jump into the first recipe. When we do meal prep, right, it's always important to start with the things that take the longest. And in this case, it is my blueberry chia jam. Not because it cooks for a long time, but it takes a while for the chia seeds to jelly up. So it needs to rest a little bit longer than all the other things we're making. It's packed with antioxidants, it's packed with fiber and omega-3 that really help reduce inflammation.
To a small pan, we're adding 2 cups of frozen blueberries. I use the organic ones from Costco because they have a really good price. We're also adding a tablespoon of date syrup and a teaspoon of vanilla.
I've just taken the blueberries from the stove and we're letting it cool for a little bit before we're adding in the chia seeds. And you don't have to worry if you feel like there's too much liquid with the berries because the chia seeds will soak all of this up.
Now the berries don't need to cook for a long time, just to simmer away on the stove for a few minutes until they're defrosted and you can mash them. And we usually say 2 tablespoons of chia seeds per 1 cup of fruit. You can use any fruit you like, of course. I stored the chia jam in a mason jar in the fridge for a few hours to give it time to jelly up. Now it's time to come to our next recipe, which are banana cinnamon overnight oats. This recipe couldn't be any simpler. In a medium bowl, we are mashing 1 banana, adding a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then we're adding 2 cups of our plant milk of choice. Mashing in a banana will bring some natural sweetness, so we don't need to sweeten extra, and it also adds fiber and magnesium to our overnight oats. And then we're ready to add our oats. I added some sprouted gluten-free oats that are also organic. I get them from Costco every few months and they're amazing. With the oats you're choosing, make sure they're organic so they don't have any pesticides on them that could be harmful for our gut, because we're eating oats to feed the good bacteria in our gut, which will help us to reduce inflammation. And this is so important to choose the right products. Fill the oatmeal into 4 different jars and let it rest overnight.
The chia jam and the overnight oats are done. It's so quick and easy. Now they're resting in the fridge and we are moving on to the next recipe, which is hummus. I do love a whole grain toasted bread with some hummus and some tomatoes and maybe a little bit of olive oil. I do love this as a breakfast or as a snack in the afternoon. And while we're making my hummus, I'm going to show you how to get the best texture and the creamiest consistency.
To speed up the process of our hummus meal prep, we're using canned chickpeas that are canned in water and then adding them to our food processor after we have rinsed and washed them. I love to do this in a food processor because it's so much easier to get this creamy consistency, and you want to make sure to blend those chickpeas as much as possible, maybe scrape down from the sides before adding any other ingredient. Once you have a paste-like texture, we're adding a tahini. We are also adding a half of a lemon, some salt, and we're also adding some water so we can blend it more easily. Make sure to add the water 1 tablespoon at a time so you can figure out which consistency you like the best, and you might have to scrape down the sides again so everything gets blended evenly. And then you blend it for 1 or 2 minutes and then you have the creamiest hummus. So if you love a savory breakfast, you can have hummus on whole grain toast, and this will really add more plant-based protein and also more fiber to your diet, which helps reduce inflammation. And hummus is also amazing for feeding the good bacteria in your gut. I do love hummus as alternative for a highly processed cream cheese or any other alternative because this adds so much more fiber to my daily meals.
I just recently got this huge box of medjool dates. They're so soft and juicy and so fresh.
And lately they have supplied me with so much energy, especially when I'm running a lot because I'm training for a trail half marathon. They're amazing as a quick snack in between. Now because I'm eating them so much, I want to prep a few of them, so I have a grab and go snack or even a breakfast before a longer run. Slice open the medjool date with a knife and then remove the pit. Then we're filling our dates with some organic pure peanut butter. It is important that the peanut butter is pure, so just peanuts and maybe a little bit of salt, but without any added oils or additives. This will add so much more protein and fiber to our snack. We're also adding some roasted peanuts that are not salted for a little bit of a crunch. Now you could top that with some dark chocolate, but I wasn't in a mood for chocolate for breakfast, so I left that out. This anti-inflammatory juice has been my companion this winter to keep me from getting sick basically, and it is so easy to make. We're chopping some organic carrots, and I also added a golden beet because that brings a little bit of an earthy flavor, and I do like my juices to be mostly vegetables. We are also adding some ginger and some turmeric, which add so much anti-inflammatory properties that are amazing also for our gut health. And then we're adding some pineapple because they actually have enzymes that help us digest our foods better, and it brings like a fruity note to our juice. Now, if you don't have a juicer, because I didn't used to have one for a really long time before I got one last year on a Black Friday sale, I used to add all of those ingredients to a high-speed blender along with some water or coconut water. Then you just blend it and strain out the pulp from the fruit and the veggies. Now, it is a little bit more work, but the juice turns out amazing too. So it is really possible without the juicer as well.
I hope you've enjoyed this little breakfast meal prep sessions. You'll find all the recipes in the description below, and let me know in the comments what kind of meal prep you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next one.